Welcome to another Jammin' and Jivin' Part Dos. We're going to talk about the House of Guitars. Busted out my House of Guitars shirt here. Let you get a look at it. I guess it's kind of vintage now, from the earlier 90s. And this is a really cool store. It's been around for over 50 years. This particular place, 645 Titus Avenue, Rochester, New York. Armand and Bruce Schaubrecht, they moved into that building in 71 or 72. And you've never seen a store like this. It is amazing. It's just amazing. Well, here's check out a couple pictures of it. So I go to the House of Guitars and I talked to one of the brothers, Armand. Seemed like every time I went there, I got to talk to him, which was really cool. And he was telling me that Les Paul was there just not that long ago. And there was a crowd of people lined up all the way down the street. And Les Paul came in, he rolled in around 1 o'clock and a little after lunch. And it was taking forever. And Armand was like telling people, come on, everybody hurry up, get an autograph, take a picture. And Les Paul was like, whoa, take it easy. Mucho take it easy. He probably didn't say that. Leave that to Nacho. But he said, I want to talk to everybody. And basically, he stayed there from a little after lunch till like after 2. I think he stayed till like 2 a.m. So he was there for like 12 hours. And everybody that came through, he would tell them a little story about the music industry. So, I mean, it took forever. But, you know, everybody got to hear a little story from Les Paul, which I thought was really cool. So anyway, gotta do more jiving and less jamming. Armand says, I've got some Les Pauls here that Les Paul actually signed. And I wanted to buy a Les Paul Studio Light. I think it was about $750 or $800 at the time. It was, the one I wanted was red with black hardware. I don't know what I was thinking, but that's what I wanted. But anyway, he takes out this Silver Burst Les Paul. Do you know what a Silver Burst Les Paul is? Here's a picture of it. The guitar was signed on the cavity that's on the back of a Les Paul. It's like a little cover, kind of like this. They put a clear one on with a little picture, and it had his autograph on it. It was really cool. It wasn't like it was signed across the guitar or anything. And it was $1,100. And my wife's like, buy that guitar. But duh, no, I want the, I don't know, $700 red Studio Light, which in hindsight, I didn't like Silver Burst at the time. I do now. Now, if I had kept that guitar, it was number 2 of 25 he signed. If I had kept that guitar, it would be worth way more than $1,100. I can guarantee you that, because he's been dead for a few years now. So I ended up getting a red Studio Light. And there was a dude there that worked there, like long-haired rock and roll guy. And I don't know, that's the last person at a music store I remember was like just acting way too cool, you know. And he goes downstairs, he brings me a blue one. For one, I want nothing to do with the blue one. And I'm like, I'm looking for a red one. I told you a red one. And he's like, got this attitude like, oh, no. So then he goes down and gets me a red one. And it was a great guitar, but I don't know, I've never been one for black hardware too much. I don't know what, pulled me towards that guitar, but it was a great playing, it was a great sounding and playing guitar. But if I was smart, I would have bought the silver, I would have sold it anyway. That's the 163rd guitar I've ever had. So, I mean, I probably would have got sold anyway. So it's kind of mute. Say hello to my little friend. I got a little change in my pocket going jingling-a-ling. Call you on telephone, baby, give you a ring. But each time I do, I hear the same old thing. Always no hugging, no kissing, till I get a wedding ring. My hugging, my baby, don't put my love upon no shelf. She said, don't hand me no lines, keep your hands to yourself. I always thought that was a cool song. Anyway, back to the story. Metallica's first album was recorded, I read this, I didn't know this, was recorded in Rochester. So they were at the House of Guitars while they were recording it, and they asked for a whole load of t-shirts because they didn't want to wash their clothes. So years later, they come back with cases of this Japanese beer, and they stay the whole day. I think they closed the store down, and they spent $100,000 on guitars on that day. Pretty cool. I don't think I know any Metallica at all. I don't. so far with the Bixby, my brother. My brother. So, back to the story. I have an amp to trade at the House of Guitars, a rather special Marshall amp. And here is a picture of it. It's called a Marshall Major. The one I had was a 67. This monster is 200 watt tube amp. Each of those KT88 tubes makes 50 watts, and there's 4 of them. And it was a beast to carry because it had 2 big, I think they're called Drake transformers in it. It's a beast. Check out the picture of it. So, again, Armand's there, and I get to talk to Armand again, which is really cool. He always seems to be there. I always get to talk to him. And I'm looking to trade the Marshall Major. And he told me that a while back, Jim Marshall was there, and he was looking around, and he saw a Marshall Major that they had at H.O.G, and House of Guitars, H.O.G. And they had a super clean Major. So Jim's like, wow, I haven't seen a Major that clean in a long time. So Armand's like, take it. And Jim is like, how much you want for it? Take it. It's your amp. I'm not going to charge you for your own amp. And he's like, really? Take the amp. So he takes the Marshall Major amp. And 2 months later, a truck pulls up, and this is what Jim made for them. You can see it when you walk in. When you walk in the front door, it's right around to the right. You can't. If you look back, you can't miss this monster. Down and up. Any hoodle. Had to get that out of my system. What you think of that, cat? Anyway, I'm like, what do you got to trade for this lovely 60s Marshall Major? And of course, when you do a trade, you know, you're usually going to trade down a little bit. If you come in with something that's, say, worth $1,200, you might walk out with something that's worth $900 or, you know, whatever. So you got to be when you trade it, when you go to a store and you want to trade something in, you got to be prepared for that. Sometimes you can come out even. It depends, but usually you're going to go down a little bit. So Armand shows me this Marshall. It was a 1987 Marshall Silver Jubilee 2550 silver anniversary. Small little 50 watt 112 Marshall combo. Here's some pictures of it. Today. Anyway, so somebody wants to play today. I'll go full Spinal Tap on you today. So the amp, I turned the amp on, the 2550, and it was awesome. It was an awesome amp. A little heavy for a 112, but it was awesome. It sounded fantastic. So I took that thing home. And you know, it's only gone up, and all this stuff has only ever gone up in price. So I mean, if I could have hung on to some of this stuff and stashed it all, you know, I could have quite a little sale here. But yeah, that's the amp that I believe Saul Hudson or Slash, that's his signature amp, is based on the 80s 25/50 Silver Jubilee. That was a great amp. That was a great amp. But you see this amp? Of all the amps I've ever had, this one I like the best. And you know why? I can play it super quiet and it still sounds good. Like that Silver Jubilee amp, playing it at the levels I can play this at, those kind of amps are made to be turned real loud. Where this one sounds great quiet too. And it sounds good loud too. But it really, I can be talking volume and it sounds great. The sustain is infinite with the hollow body guitar. Well, if you're ever in Rochester and you like guitars, man, you got to go to the House of Guitars. You know, you have 645 Titus Avenue. Awesome store. Well, my mouthy sidekick, we're going to go out with some Rush. Let's see. Maybe something off 2112. The B side of 2112. until next time, peace out.